Hey everyone, I'm doing another quick video at like very early in the morning before I go to work, just to kind of relieve my brain of things I was thinking about during the night, and one of them was, I see a lot of best of the year lists from 2016, like movies coming up, people doing their big hour-long lists of their favorite movies, and I hear a lot of people comparing this year to other years of movies in general, just in terms of their general quality, and everyone kind of doing that sort of like, how do we quantify whether or not movies are better now than they used to be? And whether or not you feel, I guess, more like you got your money's worth at the theater. And the comparison that I always reach for immediately is Terminator 2. And I know it kind of dates me a bit, but that's my like quintessential blockbuster experience. That's like what you went to a movie for. It was like I don't know. It was so much of it is truly indelible, and the reason I use it for comparison to movies today or to blockbuster experiences today is because if you ask someone to recite the plot from Terminator 2, they can probably do it um, without missing a beat. And they could probably even recite some of the dialogue too. And they can recite these truly indelible moments of like get out, you know, things like that. And then you ask them to recite the plot of something like Captain America: Civil War, and they're like, well, Captain America and Iron Man learned friendship. I wish I was being, you know, pithy. I'm not. Like they they do that every time, and that's really what they do. It always ends in a handshake of like, I guess we have to be friends, Iron Man. I guess we have to be friends. For the sake of humanity, we'll have to learn friendship again. And it's I wish I was being, snarky, but it really feels that way to me, that these movies are all like they come back together to zero again at the end. They're all zero sum games. I don't think I'm even using that properly. But they all just feel like they return right back to reset at the very end, where it's a null game. There's no stakes. And so I never felt, I think the last Marvel movie I paid to go see in a theater was Iron Man 3. And everything else has been Redbox ever since, cuz I don't even remember them. And I don't want to go off on this tangent, but I wanted to keep this very short. Suffice to say, I don't think it's pretentious to compare blockbusters or movies in general from this year to previous blockbuster seasons, and like just how awesome you felt leaving a theater in previous years. I just don't think it compares. And another comparison I would make is Jurassic World to Jurassic Park. That was one of those movies where I watched it going like, what the fuck? Like it was the same movie. Not the same movie, but you know what I mean? It had the exact same beats in the same setting, and it was almost like with the same aesthetic. You know what I mean? And it didn't feel like a true sequel or extension of Jurassic Park 3. It felt like they're extending the universe kind of shit. I don't know. And yes, I compare it to how I felt leaving the original Jurassic Park. Like, I will never, ever forget how I felt when the T-Rex first left its paddock. I was like 12 years old when I saw that. And it was on like an IMAX-sized screen. And I know everyone harps on how the T-Rex technically walks out of anti-gravity, like he's walking out of empty space. He's walking out of where the Jeep falls in a few moments later. But I didn't notice that. I didn't notice any of that, and that was awe-inspiring. That dazzled me as a boy. And I don't want to get too gushy about Jurassic Park either, but that was one of those movies that woke me up to the magic of blockbuster filmmaking. Like how you can truly mesmerize an audience with like visual brain candy like that. And today it feels like they're sort of kind of grasping at that magic, but in a very cynically hollow way. And I'm sorry, to go down that route, but it is the whole Disney machine effect. It's that whole, like, how... I don't want to start talking in mushy terms, but, like, these movies have lost their soul. They've lost... If you can't remember individual scenes and they all just, like, kind of start to bleed together into this sort of, like, serial mush... And I mean that both ways. I mean it like a serial franchise series. It's sort of starting to feel like a Law and Order-y franchise now, this Avengers, Captain America, Marvel machine thing. And it seems to be going off on a shunt. It seems to be going off on, like, Captain America has his own, like, Splinter movies. And then the Avengers have their movies, and then they have, like, this overall... It's like, who cares, though? I'm so sorry. It's like... It's such a manufactured mythology. I'm like, I really don't give a shit. I try to give a shit. I really do, and I try to see the good ones. Like, when people are like, you have to see Winter Soldier, you have to. And I always end up going like, well, at least Redford's in it. And at least he's working. And it sort of feels like something he would do. It sort of feels like an All the President's Men sort of movie. And it feels like they're sort of doffing their hat to him, like, and that's all it felt like to me. It just felt like they were paying homage to Robert Redford and All the President's Men and, these sort of, like, political 70s thrillers he would make and the good movies that he would make. And I can't remember who said it, but it was kind of like when they put, The Shining is on the drive-through theater in Twister. They're like, don't put your good movie in a cheesy movie. Like, don't put your good movie in a shit movie, basically. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm doing it already. I'm rambling, and it's 4:30 in the morning, and this is already 7 minutes long. So that's it. That's my my A-B go-to for how movies have changed in the last even 2 or 3 decades is Terminator 2 versus whatever Avengers movie just came out. Jurassic Park versus Jurassic World. Anyway, we'll talk more about it in a later video. I'd really love to get into this Star Trek reboot shit show. Take care.